When was it actually originated? What year it was?
Yesterday morning was our 402nd walk.
Wow. How many members are kind of there in Men Walk and Talk?
So we've had over 500 men come along and do at least one walk, and those 500 men have participated almost 6,000 times, which is pretty outstanding.
So whether hell, rain or shine, you guys are walking. I think I've seen few of your walks when it's like pouring down rain and you guys were walking.
Yes, we gathered on the deck at the surf club and a massive storm come through and a lightning bolt literally stuck right next to the surf club and destroyed a tree. Like it split everywhere. It was crazy.
Do you get like any criticism?
I get a lot of people having ideas and suggestions of what we can do and different things, but we're volunteers.
Men in those groups are very much open, correct?
Absolutely, and we're not pressuring people to open up about their dark secrets either. People can be as open or as closed as they like.
For your mental health, is there days where you say, geez, have I taken too much?
Yeah, look, absolutely. Yeah, it does. I can't lie about that. But
do you get a lot of support from council?
Look, not a great deal.
What's the two crazy things that you heard that we should do with the group?
Oh, that's an interesting one. Probably some of them I can't really say on here.
Next time you go and walk, I saw you on podcast. Shane. Hey guys, welcome to the season 2 of Studio 9 podcast, and this is the episode 1, and we are very excited to bring today's guest, who's a father, who's also a very profound real estate agent in Hervey Bay, and also a co-founder for a charity organization called Men Walk and Talk. What a cool name it is. Well, where a few blokes come together, they walk and they talk, but it's more than that. So that's what we're going to deep dive into today in today's podcast. So let me welcome Shane. Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks, Din, and what an introduction. Wow, thank you so much. Very generous in what you said there. But my real estate career is still kind of relatively new, but I am so happy that our Men's Walk and Talk groups are really accelerating in our community.
Yeah, perfect. Shane, so let's start with, I know that we had a bit of a chat behind the scene on what happens and things like that. Let us, the audience, know how it all started and where it all began, the idea of this whole thing.
Yeah, well, I guess when I left school, I was still very active in the community and loved my sports. Played, a lot of cricket, a bit of tennis, a bit of golf. But life and age starts to catch up, and family life. So, that exercise element of my lifestyle was missing, and certainly then COVID hit as well. So things took a bit of a dive, and I noticed that I wasn't quite feeling myself. And whenever I caught up with one of my mates, we'd go for a walk, and I felt a bit better, and realising, well, hang on a minute, I'm missing that element in my life. And, we were kind of catching up with mates, but it didn't happen all the time. And kind of Facebook or Google, one of those things was listening to me, and suddenly the Man Walk popped up in my feed, and I thought, wow, what a great idea. I want to do this in Hervey Bay, and I got a few of my mates together, and first time we had a walk, we had 6 mates come along. And since then, it's just grown and grown, which is, I feel so good about it.
I think I've been to your walk for a few times. I think that's how we know and stuff like that. And great initiative. I think it's a great outcome where men come together. So when was it actually originated? What year it was?
Yeah, so our first walk was in September 2022. And since then, we've actually, yesterday morning was our 402nd walk.
Wow, 400 walks. So is that 2 days a week or 1 day a week?
Yeah, so 2 days a week, Tuesday afternoons and Thursday mornings. And from time to time, we try and get one extra one in a month over the weekend.
Okay. So how many members have you seen now, like how many members are kind of there in Men Walk and Talk?
Yeah. So we've had over 500 men come along and do at least one walk, and those 500 men have participated almost 6,000 times, which is pretty outstanding.
Oh, fantastic. So how do you keep a record of who comes, who goes? And I had a brief chat, looked at the website, and there are milestones. Someone's done 100 walks, someone has done 50 walks. I think you are the top scorer in the pretty much on the walk. So but how do you track all that?
Yeah. So one thing when I started the walk and stepping a bit outside my comfort zone, today is out of my comfort zone in front of a microphone, but also in front of the camera. So started a thing I saw in another group, they were taking a selfie. So every walk we do a selfie photo, and in that photo it allows us to kind of count the numbers and also recognise who's in there. So it was quite easy when it first started off, but one of our men in the group has offered to help me out with that side, and he's keeping a good track on the numbers and who's been and where we're up to.
Oh, okay. So your role as the co-founder for Men Walk and Talk, I think it's very significant. Tell us about what is just your general feedback from the people who come to the walk. Yeah. What are what they feel like, and who are those people they're coming? Are they workers, office workers, blue collar job, white collar job, anybody walks in, what is it like?
Yeah, so that's probably one of the things that I've really enjoyed about the group is that there's not one particular group or person or age group. Predominantly we're probably at that 40 plus age group, purely because a lot of people still have sports that they can do and do that social and physical aspect. But we've got people in all different jobs, retired. In our location we're seeing a lot of people, certainly since COVID, that have moved up here, and what it provides is a new space to make a friendship group. Yeah. People that come along, they can be a bit hesitant at first. Going for a walk with a bunch of guys, it's a bit different to playing a game of cricket or tennis or rugby. It doesn't seem as physical or exerting, but it's certainly an hour walk and at a brisk pace. So we're getting the heart rate up a little bit, and plenty of banter along the way, which is great.
Yeah, that's great. And I think you have great merchandise that you do. There's a great promotion by the men, and you do a lot of charity events. So tell us about some of the charity events. Do you get a lot of also support from the council, from the local, or is it not enough for organizations like you, and they're more focused on big boys at the moment, and small guys are still struggling to get funding and things like that? Because at the end of the day, we know the organization needs funding for a lot of things that you want to do. But where it sits when it comes to support, do you get enough support from local community?
Our local community's been outstanding to our group. We've got I guess when I go back, there's a couple of things. We got helped out. Fraser Coast Mates given us a little bit of money to start with, and we were able to get a banner. That was a bit of our identity at first, and the banner went missing at one stage, and I had people kind of offering to buy me new ones, which was awesome. People stepping in. That was also a great marketing ploy, I guess it turned out to be as well, with community sport and a bit of identity. But our first big one was a shirt that said Hervey Bay on it, so people knew that this group was in Hervey Bay. And I put a request out in our group online, and within about 24 hours we had over $9,000 of funding there to get those shirts. And since then, probably one of the things that's good about our walk is that it's free. You don't need to pay any money to come along and participate. The only cost is your time, and then if you want to have a shirt to feel more part of the group. So kind of from an ongoing perspective, our operating costs are quite low. We've got some insurance to cover, but there's other things that we like to do. We like to get away, or we like to have quarterly lunches. So trying to keep those costs affordable, because not everyone can afford to go to to an event where there's a nice lunch and a guest speaker. So there's balances there, as well as having some mental health first aid training courses. That's something that I really like, and we've been fortunate enough. We have some grant money at the moment from the federal government to kick that off. But no, I couldn't ask for much more. We're a low-cost organisation, and there's a number of the Red Bike Group and the Fraser Coast Mates who do a lot more of providing counselling sessions and they're very open to take referrals in our community, which is wonderful.
Yeah. So, because you are in those mental health space, men's well-being, do you think more and more men need that support or a mate to have a chat? I know there are a lot of bigger organizations in Hervey Bay and Fraser Coast and areas who are a lot focused on, and even like small organization like you. But I think we need more awareness for men. Is that correct?
Absolutely, and our group's there to try and reach out to people before they start to spiral into where a small thing may turn into a full-on medical condition. So, being able to get outside and do a bit of exercise, social interaction with other people, if you can get men out there doing that, it will hopefully go a way to helping them not spiral down as much. There's still a lot of other pressures in the world, financial, relationships, family life, but if we can try and reach more people and get them active and interacting, I think that we're going to help a number of people.
Yeah. So in your walk, how many distance do you cover usually, in your walk and talk?
So our Tuesday evening walks goes for about 5 kilometres. We walk from the surf club in Torquay down to the Scarness Jetty. It takes about an hour, and that's our more popular of the 2 walks. And on a Thursday morning, we do a bit brisker one up from the surf club to the Urangan Pier, which is bang on 6 kilometres, and if we're doing it in a K, we're getting a sweat up.
So you do change the track of walking?
So the track will vary depending on the tide. I tell you what, there's nothing better than going along the beach. We're very spoiled in our location, and if I can do it and the tide's out and it's safe, that's the route we want to go, especially because we've got a lot of people on bikes and scooters, prams, all that along the path, and we're a big group of men, and it can be intimidating, or it just becomes a bit of a hassle when we're kind of going in and out of the rest of the people using the bike path.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I think Esplanade can be a bit too much traffic, even foot or cars. You both getting busier and busier, especially when men walk and everything. It can be a bit hindrance, But as you said, the tide, if it's low tide, the beach is the perfect place to actually go. So who decides the catch up, the number of people, or people just turn up?
Yeah. So the thing is, there's no obligation to turn up. People can come and go as they please. We're not, we're not going to be. There's no penalties or issues if people miss a walk, or we have a lot of people that go away on holidays because they're retired. 3 months later they'll be back at the walk. We have some people that travel through once a year, and they might be in town for a fortnight and they make an effort to come along. There's no obligation, so we're trying to restrict all barriers that a normal sport might do in regards to cost and obligation.
Yeah. So do you get a lot of people not local? They're traveling here for a couple of days. They see something that you're doing and saying, hey, can I join?
Yeah, so it may be some of our walkers have family that are in town on holidays. They'll bring them along, or with social media these days, people might be researching a location and they put in Hervey Bay, and we try and try and do our hashtags and that kind of thing, and they go, oh, there's this walk, and this guy's face keeps popping up. It looks like a fun thing. We might come along. So yeah, it's interesting hearing when somebody joins for the first time. I always like to introduce them to the group, and I like to find out how they heard about us and Hervey Bay as well.
Yeah. What kind of challenges do you face when it comes to running a non-for-profit organization, and it more relies on people coming to you? If people don't turn up, pretty much there's no walk. So what is the challenge that you face?
So look, probably a couple of the challenges. Ones would be awareness, so making sure that people know who we are and what we do, which is something that it can be done over time, and coming on the podcast today will certainly boost that. But then knowing what we're about, and a number of people thought that we were only assisting people that had a mental illness or were diagnosed along those lines. We're open to everybody. Our goal is to help people no matter what stage they might be in.
Yeah. So anybody who's watching this podcast, Men Walk and Talk Hervey Bay, it's for every man. Okay? Any man who wants to just join and just have a bit of talk. It can be business, have a yarn, have talk about personal stuff. Men in those groups are very much open. Correct?
Absolutely, and we're not pressuring people to open up about their dark secrets either. People can be as open or as closed as they like, but we encourage, when people are on the walk, that everybody has they're paired up. There's at least one person that they can talk to. And for people that may be having a harder time, we do have some people that have done their mental health first aid course, and they're identifiable in a green shirt. Oh, okay. So if they are in need of talking to somebody, they can just decide that's who they're going to walk with today and have a chat with them.
Oh, okay. Well, that's pretty good to know. What is what's the highest number of people that came to the walk?
Yeah, so we've been lucky enough to have a couple of groups join us for walks. So we've got in Maryborough, there's the Maryborough's men's business. They do their walk on a Thursday, and we've been to them, and they've been to us. So that's kind of boosted our numbers up, as well as another group called Are You Bogged, Mate? And a couple of times a year they come to town, bring men from the country. Okay. And I think we've had 50 or more along to a Saturday or Sunday morning walk along the beach.
That's a lot of people actually walking. Yeah. That's amazing. That's a great feeling.
It's fantastic to see when you look down the beach and you see these men and they're connecting. It's just a great feeling.
Yeah. So whether hell, rain or shine, you guys are walking. I think I've seen few of your walks when it's like pouring down rain and you guys were walking.
We've had some times we've even had blokes. So I remember must have been 3 or 4 of us. We gathered on the deck at the surf club, and a massive storm come through, and a lightning bolt literally stuck right next to the surf club and destroyed a tree. Like it split everywhere. It was crazy. But it's just resilience and getting there. Even if it's too wet to walk, we'll still meet on the deck. We can have a cold drink. We can still catch up and have a chat. So we're always there. So no matter every Tuesday and Thursday, if we're there, Christmas Day, New Year's Day, whatever it might be, there's going to be somebody there to walk.
So when you are not there as a lead, who takes over?
Well, I'm very lucky that there's a lot of blokes now that love the group so much that they just step in, and a few of them are struggling maybe with taking the selfie shots, but I've got a reliable group of men there that I know that the group's in good hands if I'm not well or have to travel away. Yeah.
Okay. So and that's the thing. Like groups like this usually form with men being like, there's a close net of people who say, hey, when you're not there, I'll look after it, and then continue growing, and the whole idea is it should not stop. Yeah. Because otherwise, then gradually people will say it never happens, it never runs, and then suddenly it's all stopped, and that's the problem with non-for-profit when there's no money involved, because everything is so voluntary that you have to come, that you love that I'm going because I'm excited to go and join the walk. That's the whole idea. Do you do like big major events? Do you get a lot of big, like someone famous onto your group, and for sponsorship wise, do you do anything like that, or?
So we had been doing a men's lunch bunch, trying to get that, 3 or 4 times a year, and that involved a bit of work. But more recently, the Hervey Bay Sports Club has been kind enough to invite us along and pass on a little bit of the proceeds of the fundraising from those events. So it takes a bit of stress off me having to organise anything, the lunch and tickets and all that side. So I've really been enjoying that side, and so have the guys coming along. And the most recent one was Surrey and Botham. That was a good afternoon, and from what I hear, there's a few more planned this year. So we've kind of gone away from organising those individually. We've got a Kokoda adventure or challenge coming up. That's in May. So we take I think I've got 13 men that have registered to do either an 18 kilometre or a 30 kilometre walk through the Kenilworth State Forest, and it's good. This will be my 4th year doing it.
Is that the one that you guys did? I know I've seen on your Facebook page where you guys have done some hiking. Is that what it is?
Yeah. It's pretty serious mountains that we're going up against. It's good terrain. Last year it rained the whole time, so that added a new element to our challenge. But it's something that it's a lot. While it is physical, it's a mental challenge as well. So doing that, but we're able to do it as a group and support each other and encourage each other through. So at the end of it, there's such a relief and such a feeling of accomplishment. It's just a great time away.
So I know it's been like 4 years now that this has been started?
Coming up this September will be 4 years.
So what's your vision for the organisation?
Look, I just want to see more and more people come along and join us. I'd love to see everyone getting the 100 walk bat. So when they get to 100 walks, we have a special cricket bat memento that we hand out. And
yeah, I've actually seen that bat. I think I've seen it on your Facebook. You're awarding it to a few people. I'm like, that's so cool.
So they raised the bat for their century of walks. It's a bit of my cricket love showing off in that. But it's something that a lot of people, there's a motivation to get to that side, and a few guys were getting close together, so they were making sure that they weren't missing out on walks, which for me it's great to see them get there. And I want to see people continue. So I'd just love to see lots of people on the walk. That's our main goal, and the people that do come for a walk, I don't want to find out that they haven't been supported, or that at the end of the day there's a funeral of somebody that's been along. And I guess just being there and supporting people and providing that environment of where they feel comfortable, that if they have a problem that there's people that they can talk to. So that's my main goal over there. We don't want to make it too complicated. We start making a group too complicated, it kind of can lose some focus, and people may not want to come along. So if we can keep it easy, simple.
Yeah. Do you get any criticism?
I get a lot of people having ideas and suggestions of what we can do and different things, but we're volunteers, and we've got a certain amount of time in the day. So I'd love to make everyone happy, but I also know that it's pretty impossible to make everyone happy. So as long as we can keep the majority of the group happy, maybe people want to go on a walk in a different direction or on a different day. Well, we kind of can't spread ourselves too thin.
Yeah. What's the 2 crazy things that you heard that we should do with the group?
Oh, that's an interesting one. Probably some of them I can't really say on here.
Next time you go and walk, I saw you on podcast, Shane.
Yeah. So one of the important things about our group is that we don't kiss and tell. What goes on doesn't go on Facebook. So it's I can't really pinpoint something that's crazy, but apart from trips, long big bus trips of taking off and having a great time. There's always someone coming up with something that gets the guys going.
Do you because you're a father, you're doing real estate, you're doing this on the side, does it get challenging for your mental health? If there are days where you say, geez, have I taken too much?
Yeah, look, absolutely. Yeah, it does. I can't lie about that. But it also, the men's walk and talk group, it motivates me. It gets me out of the house, and I feel guilty if I don't make it to a walk. I love it. I love the energy I get from it. Whenever I've been out on a walk, I never come back home and go, geez, I wish I didn't go for that there today. Seeing the people and the comments I get, and they go, oh, you've done such a good thing, Shane. You're helping so many people. Well, I think that they're helping me as well. Like what benefit they're getting, I'm getting it back, and I'm probably getting more of it. Sometimes I feel guilty. I'm like, well, you guys are coming up. I'm not forcing you to show up. You're being here. I'm glad you enjoy it.
It's kind of like a de-stress for a lot of people. That you pretty much switch off everything, go for a walk, and then that I'm having just my time with my boys. And gradually that's what it becomes, a circle of boys that we want to hang out with every day, and
Absolutely. Like, I guess when I was growing up and I played cricket, and I was a young one in the team, and there was all these senior men playing, and I could never figure out what they were still doing out there. It's Queensland, it's hot, and we were having a good time, but we weren't necessarily winning either. And I'm like, well, what are you doing here? And it took me a long time to when I had kids, and then realised they're not here to win the game. They're here to be around the 10 other blokes that are out on the field having a good time, and it's their time to enjoy that. And when I realised that, I'm like, it was a bit of an eye opener. Like, wow, there is something about the connection of being around other men.
Yeah, and also like when you're running a non-for-profit, your organization purely depends on charity. I mean, funding from sponsorships and things like that. Does it get challenging?
No. Feel like we're so spoiled in that regard. I literally did our balances the other day, and we've got, we don't have lots of money, but we've got enough now to keep us going for a couple of years if we didn't get another dollar in, which is a great position to be in. It's just a matter now of finding out what areas that we should be focusing on that money and getting the best return for our community.
Yeah. So apart from your men walking to the talk and everything, what else you guys do?
Yeah, so there's a couple of times a year that we do. So we're very grateful for the surf club. We've been there since our first walk, and they've allowed us to use their facilities when we need, which has been a great benefit to our group. And in return, we're now showing up every second month. We're running the bar for them on a Saturday afternoon, and they take a good amount of money in there. So, and it takes the pressure off their members on one weekend. So, doing that, but it also provides our men a bit of purpose. Yeah. So they're coming along, they're meeting, other people as well. Yeah. And not all of our men walk. Yeah. But they want to be part of the group. So that's one way where they don't physically have to be able to do the walk, but they can come along and still socialise. So we've got the bar that we do with the surf club. Once a year, I think we've done 3 Hervey Bay 100 triathlons now. So we man a drink water station through the event, which takes a bit of work, and it can get very hectic. Yeah. But seeing the group go there and work together, it's a wonderful thing. And probably what's even better is after the race is done, a lot of the competitors come back and they thank them for the work that they've done. And it's such a good feeling, and I get such a good bit of feedback from them being a part of it. And look, there's other little community events that we've done. Another group does the Queensland Mental Health Week, which is in I think it's September, October each year down at the Scarness Park. We go along to that and have a stall there.
Do you get a lot of support from council?
Look, not a great deal. But
Do you think do council should help for groups like yours who are actually making an impact in the community?
look, I can't fault the council because I haven't gone and approached them for anything either. And there's probably one thing that's on my goal this year, and that is to have a plaque where we meet and to tell the community, hey, this is where the men's walk and talk meet, and have a little QR code where they can find more information about it. So that's one thing that I really want to team up with the council and do. You know, if I have a look at all the other parks around, they might have plaques on what tree species this is, or a bit of heritage on the park and when it was founded. But if we could have a sign that highlights our group, that would be my bit of support that I'd really love from council.
So your journey, and had any organisation, as when they've seen you on Facebook, they've seen you on websites, has anyone approached you saying, hey, let's collab?
Look, I guess Are You Bog Mates is a good example when they bring men from the bush to Hervey Bay. So having our two groups mingle, that's been an exciting one. Hopefully we got a few more planned this year that will eventuate. Yeah. There's not a great deal. That's something that we are exploring. I found out that there's a I think it's called Brave Brothers. It's a group in Bundaberg, and they do a men's walk, they do a motorbike ride and a few things. So I'm really trying to find a date that we can jump on the bus and head up that way to join them for a walk. So yeah, look, that's not as common. We do have a lot of people that work in the mental health space that do contact us about them trying to come along and promote their services. So while I've been a little bit slack with our breakfast, normally I'd have somebody come and speak at that.
Okay, yeah. Now, do you get what do you call it, like people or anyone from outside, from interstate and things like that, saying that, hey, I've seen yours, can we replicate this? Can we make a franchise, or like bigger organization? That's how things get really big and crazier. Yeah. So if someone said, oh, hey, I've seen your men's and walk and talk Hervey Bay, can we push that to Brisbane, for example?
Yeah, look, there's been a few people that asked about how it started and that they want. I've had someone down in Victoria. They used to walk up here with us, and they've moved back down there and asked about how we went about starting a walk. So I haven't checked in with them to see if they actually went through with it, but that'd be certainly something I'd love to hear about. Yeah. But I guess when I go back to when we started and we fell under the umbrella of the man walk. And followed that model for a while, but then there was a few restrictions on that side, and things didn't work out with that, which is when we then got our own individual identity. And when I was researching that, I actually found that there was a number of other groups that have done that around the countryside. Oh, okay. There's a number in Brisbane, Penrith.
Is there anything in your vision board where you want to expand than Hervey Bay?
I guess my vision board, if I ever won that, like the last night, what was it, 66 million or something like that, if I ever got to that stage and I could retire from my day job and then do the community work that I love, I would love to generate a website where it actually listed all the men's groups around Australia. So whether it's a men's shed or Older Men Unlimited, our walks. So people go on there and find out, well, hey, I'm in this location. What's available for men? And I'd love something like that. That's something that, if I had the time, I would invest in. Because one of the things that really drew me to the man walk at the start, they had about 80 around Australia. And I'd travel a fair bit, and I'd look up, I'm going to Darwin today, is there a walk in Darwin? And, oh yeah, there is, they walk on a Saturday. So, you try and tee up, and it's a great way to meet people, and it's certainly an interesting conversation. We've had a few people from Darwin come down to Hervey Bay and join us for a walk. So yeah, and that's something that would be awesome to be able to do if time allowed.
Yeah. So if anyone wants to join, if anybody's watching this, what is your message to them?
It's free to join. We're a great bunch of blokes. Just come on and give it a go. You just never know until you've been along. If you are a bit nervous about joining, you can always make contact, reach out to me. I'm more than happy to have a coffee or catch up for a cold drink and just break the ice. It doesn't cost anything. We got the best location in Australia to go for a walk, so get out there and do something for yourself.
Yeah, guys, we'll have all the details in the bio in the podcast, so you can check the website, you can check Shane's detail, and we're going to tag along walk and talk. So a lot of members, it reaches out this podcast. The idea is spreading awareness. Okay, whether it's small or big, whether through a lens, whether through by mic, whether by walk, the idea is how can we reach more people? That's the whole idea, And I think sometimes men being men, I think even I had a really good friend of mine who works in mental health space, and we did podcasts, and we were discussing the same thing, and we told him, like, we men being men, we tend to take a lot of hate all the time, but we never really speak up, but we can be very comfortable around our own bunch of boys, and we're happy to be open up and talk and just be us, and sometimes that's what we need, even if it's for half an hour or 1 hour or something, it breaks the ice, and what you do, Shane, I think is phenomenal, and thank you for coming to the podcast. I think we are very honored for you to be us on the podcast, and we want to bring more people like you on the podcast to spread the awareness, because the whole idea of starting this podcast was we get to meet great people like you who make, whether it's a small or everyday, it makes an impact on people, and that's what's the biggest factor that we love about things what everybody does, so you do a phenomenal job, Shane. Keep up the good work, and I'll try to make up to the walk, I promise. I think I've done a few times, but then I think I get so caught up with family work and everything, but I would definitely try to make up on one day.
Yeah, look, once a month, just set a little goal. It'd be great to see you along, and hopefully you can. Always welcome to bring a few mates along as well and get them involved.
Perfect. Well, thanks, Shane. Thanks for coming to the podcast. And if you watch this podcast right to the end, guys, do like, share, and subscribe, because the more people it reaches, the better the content and audience we can get for our podcast. So do share, like, and subscribe, because your small contribution of liking and sharing can spread our podcast to much more bigger audience. So thank you for watching. Thank you.